Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday. It feels like it should be Tuesday, but it's Wednesday because it was the 4th of July week, Cory. It's Wednesday, the 7th of July. I'm Brian. That's Cory. And we are going to be doing a little live streaming today of some gameplay. I think this is our first gameplay live stream, Cory.
Yeah, I believe so. We're going to be playing through some of Dishonored, which is one of the big comparables for Dawn City Heist. And this is a game that I've played a few times over the years. I think is a really cool example.
Yes, and so this is a game, as you say, Cory. You've played a bunch. I have never played Dishonored, and I think that's going to be an interesting combo today because I'm going to be reacting to everything fresh, and both of us are going to be reacting with our game designer hats on. So maybe this would not be, the typical Let's Play or the typical, personality driven stream you might see on Twitch or YouTube. Though Cory and I have great personalities, so there's some personality here. But rather than the stream being driven by those, it's going to be driven by us looking at the game like game designers, thinking about it critically and reflecting on it, Cory, especially in light of some of the design decisions that the designers of Dishonored make that might be relevant to things we are thinking about doing in Dawn City Heist.
Yeah, for sure. As we go, I'll be drawing connections to things that we've chosen to do gameplay-wise for Dawn City Heist and how you might apply some of the same thinking if you want to make levels for Dawn City.
So I guess my only other comment going in, and Cory, you just you prepped us for it as we were getting ready for the stream today. This game will have some sailor language in it. It will have some content that is in. What's the actual rating on the game? Do you know, Cory? To put you on the spot.
I think it's T.
Yeah,
I think it's T.
So it's you all know what a T rating is if you're familiar. We don't make the games that we're going to necessarily showcase as we look for inspiration for our own games, and we're going to play the games as the designers of those games intended them. So if you have any objection to T for teen content, you have been forewarned because you're going to see some of it. And Cory, your intention today, we're going to start at the beginning of the game. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're going to play through the very beginning so you can see all the narrative setup and stuff, and we'll play through the first mission, and after that, I'll probably skip ahead so that we pass through some of the dialogue and slower bits so we can see more of the core gameplay.
That sounds great. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I've not, as I said when we were introducing Dawn City Heist last week, I'm not a huge stealth game player, mostly because I can't handle the stress of, trying to stay hidden, and then inevitably, because I don't play a lot of stealth games, when I do, I'm very bad at it, and I completely break stealth and end up having 30,000 guys swarm me. So I'm excited to see a game I probably wouldn't otherwise play, and I'm excited to see someone who knows what they're doing play it. So that's all good. So shall we get into it, Cory?
Yeah, sure. Let me pull it up. I'm excited to see your reactions too, and just to let people know, even though I like stealth games, I'm actually not the best at them. So I probably will not be super stealthy here, but I'm going to try my best.
Okay, what difficulty are you going to go for?
I'm going to choose normal mode. I like to start with normal in most games, just to see what the intended average experience is. And I am experienced with first-person games, so.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. When you play like a designer to kind of start on normal, because you get a sense of how the designers intended the game to be play balanced and how the mechanics are supposed to work, as you say, Cory, for the average player. I often will do that and then switch to easy difficulty. If I'm in my designer mindset, I'm trying to understand the game, from a design perspective, and then kind of switch to like the easiest difficulty or the story mode difficulty to progress more quickly once I get a sense of the balancing. Because it's my contention, and a lot of designers will tell you this: if you think like a designer when you approach one of these playthroughs, you can understand all the key mechanics of a game in less than an hour of gameplay, or maybe 90% of what the game has to offer in less than an hour of gameplay.
Yeah, for sure. And I've done that same thing. I've gone in on normal mode just to see what everything's about, and then once I've got a sense of it, especially if I'm having trouble with some of the more technical stuff, I might switch over to easy. I really appreciate games that let you switch mid-game, like anytime you can switch the difficulty. I find that's really nice.
Agreed. All right, here we go. And I should mention also we're monitoring the chat, so if you have observations or questions or anything for Cory or I, please hit us up on the YouTube chat.
So here is the very start. Shall I read this out for you?
Can you do it in an appropriately epic voice, or?
I can try.
All right, go for it.
Returning home. You have just returned from a journey of several months, visiting the other nations in the Empire to ask for aid in dealing with the rat plague. You must deliver their diplomatic response to the Empress, whom you serve as Lord Protector.
Well, you tried. and that's the
Corvo,
important.
if only there was someone else I trusted to send, so that you could remain near. But there is no one else. And the Spy Master was right to insist that I send you. The plague has taken so many, and we must find a cure. When you are near, my heart is at peace. Emily and I will count the days until you return. Hurry home, and bring good news.
Do you know when this game was released, Cory?
Off the top of my head,
I'll look it
no.
up.
I want to say 2012.
That's it.
I could be wrong.
Watch it. Cast off line. Casting off. We're away. Take us
2012
straight
is
to
correct.
Dunwall Tower.
Yeah.
Fort Corvo has news for the Empress, and we've come a long way.
A long way to bring bad news. The sailors say there's a curse on us. Black magic.
Superstition. For all we know, there's a cure for the plague by now.
I love the art direction
Maybe.
already.
We live in strange times. Sending the Empress's bodyguard away for a couple of months. That's unusual.
Well, this was important. We need help with the rat plague.
The water effects and reflections are surprisingly solid for an almost 10-year-old game also.
Yeah, that's something that I've been noticing too.
It's not a this isn't like a remastered edition or anything, is it?
Oh no, this is the original.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, there! We're going up.
Sealed. Ready.
Turning on the pipes. And she's rising.
You know, this is a super common technique in games, and you can see why, because it's so oh, that's really nice too.
Home at
Um,
last.
You know, this slow move through a lot of environments in the intro cinematic, so you get a sense of the art direction and of place. You know, they're doing a really, really good job of it here. But I feel like
The
I'm,
Empress will be waiting for your news, Corvo.
even in that short span, I'm very rooted in the sense of place now, you know, for this game, which I imagine is key to its appeal.
For sure. And this is something that Dishonored in particular does a lot, is just giving you environmental context through these really gorgeous scenic shots of moving around and approaching the location.
Yes. The pressure was too low. All these new machines are touchy.
Just don't do anything crazy. Sokolov's changed everything.
Hello, sir.
Corvo, you're back! Will you
My
tell me about your
daughter.
trip, please? Were there any whales? Wait! let's play
All those
hide and
violent
seek
video
first.
games.
I'll cover my
And
eyes
hug
and you
your
hide.
daughter.
Do you have time? Mother's busy talking to that nasty old spy master.
Let's do it. Be nice to the little girl.
Okay, here we go.
Singing a little song.
Okay, this is a clever way to do a movement tutorial.
I agree.
I
And you
like
can
this
skip it if
approach.
you want. If you're
Yeah.
super familiar with it, you can just go right past.
It's just little details like that. It's so, you know, it's such an obvious
go.
concept
Come
on
on.
one level to
Let's see if you're still
contextualize
fit.
it in the narrative, right? Because they
I'll
want to
hide
let
my
you
eyes
skip
and
it,
count.
as
And
you
at the end of
say,
the countdown,
but they
I'll
found a
try
way to
and
make
find you.
it part of the,
Okay, I'm going
you know,
to
the
count to
world
10.
rather than just
Find a place
a
to
movement
hide.
tutorial. You know, it doesn't, if you're making a game, it doesn't really cost anything extra to think little details like that through. And
Yeah.
now we're getting our stealth tutorial. Okay. C
Yep.
to enter stealth mode.
One, two, three.
Go. Oh, I'm leaving the hide and seek area. I guess I'll go over here.
No, you don't want to do that.
9, 10. Here I come.
Did I get her? Got her good.
I mean, she may not be the smartest AI in the world. She is from 2012. Would it be not fitting with the theory of hide and seek if you actually move around now and try to find a different hiding spot?
It would be rude, but it's
Yeah.
allowed.
Later, will you give me more climbing lessons? Someday I'm going to climb up to the rooftop. Follow me, Corvo.
Like you were saying, the visuals in this game have this really like painterly aesthetic.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really nice to look at.
Yeah, it makes the 2012, era visuals hold up better than if they were really going for more photorealism. That, especially that stylization, but that painterly stylization
Stop
as well.
moving,
Speaking of
Campbell.
painters,
And you, Corvo, welcome back. Wherever you've been.
They sent him all around the Isles to beg for aid.
A waste of time. My elixir will banish the plague from this city. Now keep still a moment, High Overseer Campbell.
I'm not so sure that painting looks like Campbell.
Saw my improvements to the waterlock.
yes, when you see some of the tree
Squad after what happened last
textures, that does
Never
not hold
doubt
up
it.
as well as the more painterly stuff.
Yeah.
She'll see you at once.
So, because 2012 were like Xbox
They're
360.
sick people, not criminals.
Yeah,
Or,
PS3.
We've gone beyond
PS3,
that
yep.
question, Your Majesty. They're
They're my citizens, and we will save them from the plague if we can. All of them.
very well.
We will not speak of this again.
Mother, Corvo is back.
Thank you, Emily. Leave us, please.
As you wish, Your Majesty.
Definitely sounds like a nasty old spy master.
Corvo.
Mhm.
2 days early. Full of surprises, as usual.
Alrighty then.
Game voice acting is interesting in that in every other genre of acting,
Follow
it would
me,
be
Captain.
massively overacting, and yet
Should
you need
leave
to
them
overact that
alone.
much in game voiceover for it to come over.
Indeed, I believe so.
Yeah. Man. There's so much of this level that isn't playable. It's just for looks, but it does so much to set the scene.
Yeah, it does.
Fair wind that brings you home to me. What news have you brought?
You handing her that note, that was just like a narrative,
I hope that
sequential
one of
thing.
the
Was there
other
like a
cities have
separate
dealt with this
mechanic for
before.
selecting
Notes, I'm
objects or
sure.
anything there to hand her?
Oh no,
This is
that
very
was
bad.
I just press F and
We're at the
it
breaking
goes into
point.
a little cutscene.
Cowards. They're going to blockade us. They'll wait to see if the plague turns the city into a graveyard.
Are you okay, Mother? You seem sad.
Yes, don't worry, darling. Mother is fine. Wait, where are the guards? Who sent them away?
Mother, look! What are they doing on the rooftop?
What? Emily, come here.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Left hand, right hand fighting mechanics. Okay.
Almost Bioshock-esque.
Yes. I see that.
Except it's not really my left hand. When I right click, I fire the gun that's in my left hand.
When you right click, you fire. Oh, so it's primary second. Okay, so we,
Yeah.
you can keep playing, Cory. I'll tell the story over it. We had a
Sure.
game designer on our team
Emily, get
at
behind me.
Eline who that choice where the weapons end up being mapped to the opposite hand of how they appear on screen. It was like the bane of his existence. So shout out to Greg if Greg is watching, but he violently campaigned against that.
Corvo, thank you. If you hadn't been here. No more! Not again!
Mommy!
No! Get away from her! Corvo!
Mommy!
Oh.
Get away!
Corvo, it's all coming apart. Find Emily. Protect her. You're the only one who'll know what to do. Won't you? Corvo.
Ward us all. Look at what he's done.
Yes, he's killed the Empress.
It wasn't me.
Isn't that how it always goes?
What
Otherwise,
did
you have
you
no
do
plot
with
to
young
your
Lady
video
Emily,
game.
traitor?
Her own bodyguard. Ironic.
I'll see you beheaded for this, Corvo. Take him.
Yeah, the slap to the face with the hilt of the sword is a good touch too. That's always a good way to transition.
Now I'm in jail. 6 months have passed since I was accused by the royal spy master of murdering the Empress and conspiring to abduct her daughter Emily, the royal heir. Now locked away in Coldridge Prison, the time of my execution draws near.
So it
Can't
does.
have that. That would be a lame game.
I mean, pretty lame plan. Be seen with the Empress, and then immediately kill her in a public place if that was your plan. But, okay.
This is your final chance, Corvo. Sign the confession, and let me give you the rights to put your spirit at ease.
Hot poker.
That's enough for now. Get out. Let's give the man some time to think. Corvo, the Empress is dead. Her daughter Emily is hidden away, and no one will ever know the truth.
Yes, unlucky you. Tomorrow you'll be executed, but it's for a good cause. This country needs strong leadership now, someone to guide the weak. And that's where we come in.
There was nothing personal in this, even though you almost sank our plans. But it turned out well. You were in the wrong place at the right time, and someone has to take the fall.
See, I feel like this is a
Goodbye,
thing that since
Corvo.
2012, like, we've evolved in games where games wouldn't do this. They wouldn't give away the whole conspiracy in the first 10 minutes of gameplay, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, these dudes think they're about to execute me.
You should eat, Corvo.
And they always
Steel
do, and they're
comes from a
monologuing
friend.
a bit, and I understand that. But I just feel like in the construction of the narrative, you know, more modern games would just take. I feel like they take more of an opportunity to keep every twist. All right, what does that say?
A little fire that warms is better than a big fire that burns.
I mean, depending
Although
on
rights
what you're trying to
can't be
accomplish, but
cursed.
I could buy it. Yeah.
We all start with innocence, but the world leads us to guilt. Some very nice cursive for prisoners.
This is a nice cursive and extremely philosophical. I guess you have a lot of time to think about things if you're in prison. So you found the message on your little food tray?
Yep, with the key to the cell.
Oh, that's convenient.
Any chance you'll share your food with me tonight? Bug someone else.
And we don't know who gave us that. It was just an anonymous benefactor.
Yeah, it was a guard brought a message from somebody else.
Okay.
But we don't know who it is yet. A friend, it said. Sword now. Now this is like the main meat of the gameplay is starting here.
Okay.
Find some loot.
Nice of the guards to leave the sword around.
Well, I'd say that, and then immediately.
Unless accompanied by an officer of the law. Escort through the solitary wing must be scheduled in advance.
So this
Oh, you're
battle
still
that
alive.
you've just gotten into.
This was very avoidable. And
I was going to
did
ask, was
not.
that did you intentionally trigger the battle? Like you could have stuck around
I
that,
didn't.
or
No, you can definitely sneak around. So I say
Okay.
the meat of gameplay is beginning, but then I immediately walked right by where all the guards were. And now it's telling me that you can do that if you want to. You can assassinate people, but you can also be non-lethal.
okay.
I've already bungled that for myself. I can't be non-lethal anymore. But
Yeah, you're not going to
I can-
get the 100% non-lethal achievement.
I don't know that that was ever an option for me. I'm pretty not great at being completely stealthy. So now it's teaching me how to lean.
Okay, that's a good mechanic. And you would you break stealth by leaning if there was someone who might observe you leaning?
I don't think so unless you're like all the way out.
Okay.
Yeah,
you've
now
got
I got a
pistol.
gun.
And
Now I can heal up.
Attention. Tomorrow's execution will be restricted to the personnel assigned to the event and approved dignitaries only.
I can look through the keyhole.
Nice.
Handy later. Oh, up here. This is a common thing that I see in a lot of games now, where they'll paint the ledges that you can climb.
Yeah, that's an early example of that mechanic, I feel like.
Yeah. And in more recent games, it's become less and less obvious, I find. Like, they'll
I've
make it
also
look
found
like
that.
more part of the environment.
I was telling you last week, Cory, I've been playing one of your other favorites, which is Horizon Zero Dawn, and they got very. I remember as I was playing it and noticing it, they do that also, but they get quite subtle with it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless accompanied by an officer of the watch, escort through the solitary wing must be scheduled in advance.
Another thing about this game is the sound design is so unnerving. There's a lot of sounds that sound like alarms, but they're not alarms, they're just announcements.
That's
or
super
there'll
clever.
be creepy little things in the music that kind of set your nerves off.
I like that.
Oh no. That would be where I just was. Now they've found the bodies of the guards that I killed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go over here. Oh, I can't go over there.
That's
I need
such an important mechanic, I think that adds a lot to a game like this, is if the bodies actually are persistent and they can trigger someone else locating you.
Ran off.
Yep. So I need the key to that door. It's probably on one of these guys. But now I can be a little more intentional because I can see them and they can't see
Tomorrow's
me.
execution will be restricted to the personnel
Because it would never occur to
assigned
them to
the
look
event
up.
and approved dignitaries only.
They do sometimes in the game. Oh, here we go. Good opportunity. Heck!
Nice.
I totally thought I got him there. Well, he did have the key.
He did have the key. He has no head anymore, but he does have the key.
Yep. Promise I'll show how to be actually stealthy in this game at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say, Cory, this was intended to be a stealth game, was it not?
Okay, let's...
And are you like manually switching your grip on the sword there, Cory? Is that just something that happens?
That's just something that happens with the animations.
Unless accompanied by an officer of the watch,
They left their
escort
money
through the
pouch.
solitary wing must be scheduled in advance with 1 week's notice.
Who's in here? I find that gameplay in stealth games in general is very thoughtful and can be slow sometimes, because so much of it is just observing and checking if you're safe.
It makes you think about the construction of every room and every puzzle, right? Like the construction of this room that you're in right now. If you want to hang on a second before you go through actually go through the door, it was very similar in layout to the room where you just assassinated that dude, right? It's a large room. It's got that second story that you come in, but this was a large empty space in contrast to that other space, which was a place where enemies were congregating, right? Mm-hmm. And subconsciously that plays with your head a little bit, right? Because the prior encounter conditions you to think that this one's going to be like that too, and then it's just an empty space.
Yeah, yeah. They balance that in the level design of this game. Of empty spaces where you're still feeling the tension versus spaces there actually are enemies, versus there are some spaces where it's not as stressful and you do feel safe.
Yeah, this concept, since we're about learning game making, I mean, this concept in the most general sense of mixing an area of challenge with an area of where you get a little bit of a break. The way you expressed it, Cory, is which designers often do, is a very emotion-based way of doing it. An area where you feel stressed versus an area where there's a slight release of tension versus mounting tension versus full tension. All of those concepts are ways that folks describe that. And it's really, really key. You can't have big action.
Well, that was a bug. That was interesting.
That was interesting. But you can't have a big area with a big action set piece followed by another immediately by another big action set piece by another big action set piece. That you need to pace that out. And thinking about mounting and diminishing tension rather than going from always going from like 0 tension to 100 on the tension scale is another good way to conceptualize that.
Yeah.
Corvo's unconscious again, though he's taken more punishment than the 2 men we brought in for interrogation. When he wakes, we'll start again. Having him sign the confession for her murder isn't critical, but it might be useful to us later. The assassination of an empress is not a trivial matter.
I am reasonably certain that one punch card could not encode that much audio information.
Can and Dunwall. Your fancy punch cards. See?
I mean, I think we did establish there's magic in this universe already, though, with the assassins disappearing and into the ether. At the beginning of the game.
Normal people typically can't do that.
Okay. So it really is the classic "it was a wizard" thing, right? If there's anything in the game that you can't explain, it was a wizard.
Should have looked through the keyhole.
Should have looked through the keyhole.
That's another thing. Always, the environment is changing in this game because the enemies will move around.
Yeah. And
So-
we may be able to get a sense for it as you continue to play through, Cory, but you may know. How is the pathing on those enemies? Are they all, always on prescribed paths unless they detect you? Do they appear to have some AI to their pathing? What's your assessment?
They do have some pretty complicated AI, actually. And they will usually move on a set route,
Attention.
but
The
if
solitary
they see you
waste
or
of
if they see
unless accompanied by an
like
officer
a
of the
body, or if they notice that somebody was on a patrol nearby but they're not there anymore, they will react to that. And they'll move around in different ways. They'll follow you. They'll go where you were.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of AI has gotten even better in recent years, but it's not insignificant in this game.
So they'll react to someone that one of their comrades who they expect to be on a path not being where he's supposed to be. That's interesting.
Correct. Yeah. I got into a situation with that the other day where I had taken somebody out and he said, "Hey, there's supposed to be a patrol over here." And then he went after me.
Now, right now in Dawn City Heist, what we have planned is, what we would call static pathing, where the enemies are on particular paths, that are basically loops that you've predefined. But then if they detect you, they deviate from those and they pursue you.
Correct. Yeah, the drones in Dawn City are not nearly as smart as the guards in this game.
So you just got through that whole room without having to commit any violence. You snuck your way around.
Yep.
Not everyone did, but I really like the Empress.
Shouldn't have killed her then.
So this is like let's call this mid-level game design stuff. They've done this technique a number of times where when you first get to a room where you're going to encounter some enemies, you hear some dialogue, right? And that's a predefined dialogue loop that's advancing the story or advancing the lore a little bit. And then after that happens, they trigger the enemies starting or returning to their pathing or their patrol, right? Both the way that bleeds out the lore of the game, a little bit, and the way that occupies your time a bit, right? And gets you ready to be, okay, they're talking now, I'm going to get ready to observe, and it helps prime you for that. I like that design choice a lot.
Oh, look at me. Okay.
So yeah.
Sorry, pal. I was just going to knock you out, but then you saw something you shouldn't have.
I was reasonably sure he was going to get you if you didn't get him.
There's one more guard out there, but I think I can just walk away. Hello. Excuse me? There we go.
Yeah.
The key for blocking is the same for choking somebody out.
Upstairs
yep.
there.
Hello.
Ooh.
Perfect timing, you can counterattack with your sword. I think I might die here if I don't. Hurry up. Hello.
Oh boy, that's kind
Yeah,
of
this is not ideal.
See, I'm not. I mean, I get it. This is the thing I will tell you, Cory, if I can say it while you are getting assassinated here. This is the thing I don't enjoy about stealth. I feel like for a relatively minor, suboptimal piece of gameplay like you just had there, that was an extreme penalty.
Yeah,
that you paid for
I agree.
that, right?
I agree.
So, like my reaction to that is I would not. Like if a professional game designer handed me that set piece, right, and that was what happened, my feedback to them would be, I would redefine that a little bit. I would adjust that so the penalty is not so extreme if you break stealth here. Yet I find that most stealth games do have penalties that are that extreme when that happens. Like, do you find that also? And what do you? I mean, is that do stealth players find that rewarding? It sounded like you felt that was a little bit much also.
Yeah, I agree. I personally enjoy in stealth games when you're able to reinitiate stealth even after a slip up, and it doesn't summon every guard in the vicinity. And I think that some stealth players are more inclined to say that they want to get everything right and just have a perfect run, and that's why they weren't seen. But I think for more casual players like myself, it's more fun when, even if you mess up once, you can get back into stealth and not have to deal with everybody and kill everybody. Like, even if you get spotted once, you can run away and then not have to kill people.
The other thing that stealth games do, and I see this in modern games or modern games that have some stealth mechanics, is they'll sort of tier the response, right? So an example would be if you break stealth and you trip this one enemy who notices you, that enemy will be like, I'm gonna run and set off the alarm. And then if I set off the alarm, that's when everybody starts swarming, and you've got some time to either kill that enemy or disable the alarm, or maybe you pre-disabled the alarm or something like that. And that way you've got, a little bit of leeway, and you don't immediately go from I'm fine to I've alerted every guard in a 5-mile radius that I'm here.
Yeah. And that's something that I find that Horizon Zero Dawn does well.
Yep.
Like, if you mess up stealth once and one robot notices you, you can often just run and cleverly avoid their search area and escape into more tall grass or whatever and hide from them again, and then try again to be stealthy, because they'll eventually go back to not looking for you. And same thing even in human camps in that game, like bandit camps, they'll do that thing where you're talking about, if they spot you or they see somebody's dead, they'll run to sound the alarm, but you might have a chance to kill them or even disable the alarm before they're able to do that, and that gives you another chance to reinitiate stealth.
Yeah, and the other thing that's worth noting there is, and again, I think Horizon Zero Dawn is a really good example of it. Even if you break stealth and you trigger the one enemy, and then you've got to go hide and lay low for a while, and then eventually they forget about you. Just the time penalty you pay. All right, now I got to lay low for a minute, or I got to lay low, or whatever. That's enough of a penalty. You know what I mean? For a lot of you can't progress in the game. You've just got to sit there. You can't move on. You're sitting there for a minute with relatively little to do. That's enough of a penalty in a lot of cases for having that minor break of stealth. Right? That feels like an appropriately balanced penalty for the infraction.
Yeah, I agree.
You're afraid of him?
Now we're going to see another of this game's mechanics, which is these guys.
Never saw what he was like.
Oh, do you get to do stuff with the rats?
3-1 in the practice yard. He's a whirlwind.
Let's see.
Oh, right, because we've already established the rats have the plague. Very efficient rats. They're extremely. I don't know if that's an effect of the plague, but that's very wow. They're even more if they'll strip you to the bone. That's wow.
Yep. Pretty intense. So
I like it.
I don't want to be down there.
Yeah. Would you be in danger from those if you were down there?
Yes, I would be.
Okay.
And I think I can open the door, but I can see the swarm right there, and they will come after me if I go down there.
Okay. Yeah, don't do that.
Not kill the rat plague.
Yeah, not as nice penmanship on the graffiti as was in your cell.
This one's pretty nice. The rats are eating our babies.
Well, the sentiment, I can approach. But no, the penmanship was fine there. I agree.
There's another swarm over there.
There, but you're separated.
Now
from
there's a corpse.
All right, so they're going for the corpse, but now you're going to be in trouble.
Cleverly right in the middle of your path.
So you got to learn to avoid them. Yep, good. That is good level design and way of introducing a concept. The marker for the hidden supplies. I like that too. Like I get that that's your objective, and they're trying to send that to you, but it's like,
oh, that's sad.
Oh, that's very sad. No, I get that they're trying to send you to your next objective, and that they in this narrative they're hidden supplies. But if you point out where they are, they're not hidden supplies. Just call them supplies.
Supplies that are hidden to everyone but me.
Right.
Outsider walks among us. I wonder who that is.
Oh, he's the outsider.
It's the...
Yeah, you got to get the... I hate it when a corpse gets on my wheel that
Yeah.
unlocks the hidden
So
supplies.
frustrating.
I can tell you, if I had a nickel.
Lots of people living down here at some point or another. Lots of empty bottles around here, but not really much reason to use them yet.
It's one of those things, like, if like... Ooh.
Aren't we supposed to go to the flooded district? Yeah.
Disturbing image.
Screw that. It's too far. I don't want to catch the plague. Do you? No.
Doesn't the elixir prevent it?
Maybe. Either way, let's just dump them down there. Let the rats eat them.
This is why we have plague. I'll just be dumping bodies everywhere.
I mean, it's a good narrative justification for having lots of corpses around, because I imagine those are useful.
Yeah. What I want is for the rats to not be right there. So how about...
So we're creating some corpse bait for the rats.
Yeah.
Some more. There you go, kids.
This is a strong dude if he can just...
I know, that was a good...
corpses
I
like
probably
that.
could not toss a corpse that... I don't have first-hand experience, but I don't think I could toss a corpse that far.
Attention, Dunwall citizens. The assassin Corvo, responsible for the murder of our fair empress and the disappearance
Rat
of
skewer.
Lady Emily,
Don't mind if I do.
Sure, let's eat the plague-infested rat skewer.
Several brave officers of the state are dead by his hand. He is to be captured or killed at any cost.
This is something that we do a lot in Dawn City Heist. That's kind of the main goal, is get loot, get that money. And there's lots of different things in this game that can give you money. Like that copper wire I picked up, it's not money, but it immediately, as you pick it up, gets translated into an amount of coins.
Now that looks like a
Harmless?
trap. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
trip
I can
wire.
trigger it. Well, shouldn't have been standing in front of it when I triggered it, but now I know. Ocean. Somebody booby-trapped all these sewers. Why would they go and do that?
Sometimes you have to just step back and ask those kind of questions.
All their money down here, too.
Just on the off chance that, I don't know, a wanted criminal might, just hypothetically speaking, go through the sewers at some point. Maybe we'll set up some booby traps.
Oh, he blew up and hurt me.
Maybe it was that guy.
This is from my friends again. They're loyalists who want to reinstate the monarchy. So here's my hidden supplies.
Ah, the hidden supplies. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I want that. So, Cory, just a time check on our stream. We've got about 20 minutes.
Oh wow, already
remaining. So I don't know if you wanted to jump around or you want to keep going or what you wanted to show.
Yeah, this is kind of a slow bit in gameplay. So let's show one of the more interesting mission sections.
Cool.
Where would it be? I think it's up. High Overseer Campbell. Let's do the Campbell mission. Let's see. I might need to skip ahead even more. Oh, okay, this is the introduction of the mission, but I'll skip ahead after we hit this.
It'll be a rough trip. Used to be to go straight up Clavering Boulevard, but now it's not so easy. Half the city's dead of the plague. The other half's fighting over what's left. City Watch still holds the bigger streets, and they've set up those wall of light checkpoints. Man walks through one of those, and he ends up burned to a crisp. Everything not controlled by the City Watch is gang territory. And there are the real odd birds living on the fringes, like that Granny Rags. They say she's nuts. I don't know which is worse. Just take your pick.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead actually to this, because I think this will put me right. Yeah, okay. So now I've got some powers, and one of the biggest powers in this game is Dark Vision, which lets you see through walls, and you can see the vision cones of enemies.
Cool.
So this is something that's built into Dawn City. You can always see where the drone vision cones are. Notice me? He totally noticed me.
I think he did.
Indeed, I believe so.
So that definitely creates a different, again, very common thing, but it definitely creates a different
Probably right.
dynamic, right? Now that you're seeing those vision cones, especially.
Mm-hmm.
About how far, Cory, into the gameplay does that get introduced?
Watch it.
Oh, there's a dog. Sorry. I will try to be more stealthy as I get out of here. What was the question?
Oh, sorry. So about how long into the game before that dark vision gets introduced?
Not very. Pretty much as soon as the narrative stuff is over from the end of that mission that I just did, you will get your powers.
So that's it is something that the game kind of trains you to use from the relative beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will show the other power that I have that I really like to use once I get through here. There's a lot of different power abilities, which I'll show the screen where you can choose those. So when you can look at your powers, this is Dark Vision, and then Blink is one that I'll be using a lot here pretty soon. I also can jump into the bodies of animals. So rats and dogs and things, I can possess them for a short time. And that's really useful sometimes, but also people will react to you like you are that animal. So people really don't like rats in this world, so if you're just a rat hanging out with people, that's not safe.
Mm-hmm. I would think not.
So what I'm going to do... Switch to Blink. See people before I go places. Anybody out here? Dark vision. Oh, there's a dude right there. What Blink does, wow. I was spotted already? He saw me do that? Man.
So you're jumping from one location to another without
Yep.
traversing the distance in between.
Correct. Get behind him, I can probably knock him out. There we go.
Okay, that's very cool.
Yeah, let's put him somewhere where people will not find him. I don't want to be discovered. Put him in the corner over here.
Is hiding people inside like furniture a thing, or just dropping people somewhere?
You can drop them in some furniture, not all of it. I'm gonna go. What I like to do in this game is get as much verticality as I can, because again, people don't look up all the time. I'm going to wait a moment. Let me use my dark vision. Nobody else over here. Oh, there's a dude over there, but he might be. Really wish that the key for block was not the same as the key for knocking people out.
Can you rebind it?
You can, yeah. The default is just not ideal. And let's switch back to Blink. Back up here.
Now that when you use those powers, how does that work? Do you have like a energy budget for those?
Yeah, so if you look in the upper left, the blue is my mana. And when you use it, if you don't use anything else for a little bit, it'll regenerate quickly. So you can actually manage your mana without having to refill it pretty easily. If you use it all at once, then you might run out.
Right.
This is the goal of this mission, is getting in here. There's a guy who's trying to poison a political rival. We want to get rid of the guy who's trying to poison the other guy. So what I can do... I have a lot of options here.
That's clever.
Let's switch to poison.
Searching district by district.
The poor girl.
I can loot in here.
Probably found a safe place to hole up in all this chaos.
If my overseers hear any word, I'll come straight to you. Time for drinks.
You're trying to walk in the fire though.
That's all the quicker.
What do runes do?
Those are the points that I can spend to buy
Servants
powers.
must have been in here. Let me see. It seems
a
I have
remedy
the
over
wrong
there.
one. Not that one.
They give you lots of time with this scene, having the guy go through his keys to get into the room.
Here we are. Now's the job.
Well, I like that. They're letting you figure it out.
Men will
I
come
like
get
that.
you when we're finished. Keep each other entertained in the meantime.
I don't understand how this got so unpleasant.
Oh, I agree. A whore dies and suddenly this. Will you have wine? It's a Tivian red.
Thank you.
Now,
I like how your character knows
What would
whose
you
glass
say
was
happened
whose,
last
such that he could switch to poison.
To be honest, I'm not even sure. My men, your overseers, a few whores, maybe a little too much ale. One harmless prank with a runaway chicken, and 10 minutes later, Trevor's Alley is
Oh, there's like a rat in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I almost wish I'd been there.
Could I possess the rat?
Take it easy there, old son.
I'm all right.
I'm gonna wait. I'll possess the rat to get out of
Gone
here.
the wrong way. Now about these overseers.
Was just as guilty as my own men, if not more.
But my overseers have a name to protect. I can't allow you to... Oh no. This can't be happening. Who's done this?
What on earth are you talking about?
No time. Listen carefully. You must... I instruct the Lord Regent to burn the Black Book. Understand? Burn it!
What Black Book? What do you mean?
Tell him. Warn them. And then die. Plague, you useless incompetent! I never liked you.
What in the world?
Guards! Guards, get in here!
I wish that rat was closer. I don't think I can get him from here. No, I can't.
He's been poisoned.
Darn.
There was a younger of your order in
What I
here.
could do.
An initiate, perhaps. Detain him. You don't give orders.
Well, that didn't work.
Someone get over here!
Time to run. Time to run. Oh, there's nowhere to go.
You know what, though, Cory? I know what you were trying to do. And it would have been very clever had it worked. I mean, it was still very clever. It just didn't work.
That's a lot of my experience in this game. Is I mess up and then I just have to run
This facility is
away.
now in high alert. Lockdown is now in effect.
They ran somewhere else.
Stations and execute any intruders on site.
Now I have to get out. I don't actually know. Let's go to get out.
I know you're here somewhere, Scum.
I sure am. Oh, did he see me?
Someone get over here.
Fine.
Get around,
Here we go.
Billy. Damn it. Where'd he go?
Wow.
I know you're here.
He must have ran off somewhere.
Haven't seen him.
Attention. This facility is now in high alert. Lockdown is now in effect. Report to your stations and execute any intruders on site.
Little audio warping that they do when you blink is fun.
That's a nice touch. I mean, what happened when you were trying to, teleport before and you alerted them all? Again, that's
oh no, they saw me.
I
do look up sometimes.
This facility is now in high alert.
We're gonna hide.
Lockdown is now in effect. Report to your stations
run
and
away.
execute any intruders on site.
But again, I feel like that's another one of these challenges of stealth games is you had a pretty good strategy there. And I honestly feel like the mechanics there, the degree of control you had of where you were targeting with your blink let you down there a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. Do you feel like this is a game where the sequel
Attention! This facility is now in high
on all of
alert.
it?
Lockdown is now in
Dishonored
effect.
2
Report to your stations
does a
and
lot more
execute
with
any
Blink,
intruders on
and you
site.
can adjust it to go a lot farther. And there's a lot of customization of the skills that you have up your sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's often the case with sequels. If they get the basic mechanics right and you know what works and you can improve upon it, it's a lot easier than doing this stuff for the first time.
Where are you?
Attention! This facility is now in high alert. Lockdown is now in effect. Report to your stations and execute any intruders on site.
I'm totally not where I'm supposed to be to escape here, but I don't know how to get back. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Take out his legs.
They call me Corvo the Speedster. Oh, goodness.
That's another way to try to do it.
Attention! This facility is now in high alert.
Oh, here's the guy.
Lockdown is now in effect. Report to your stations and execute any intruders on
This is
site.
what it looks like when I panic. I really don't know where the exit is supposed to be. I can see the arrow for it. I can't tell how to get there. Not in here.
No.
I don't know who. Oh, hello. Hello, hello. Okay, you know what? Sometimes violence is the answer.
Attention! This facility is now in high alert. Lockdown is now in effect. Report to your stations and execute any intruders on site.
I do like how the
I'm sorry you had
guard...
to see that, pal.
Yeah, no, he's a little traumatized now. How the guards aren't necessarily one-shot kills. You know what I mean? How they actually have some combat challenge to them that feels reasonably well balanced.
Yeah, it definitely adds stake
This facility
to
is now in
using
high
stuff.
alert. Lockdown is now
You
in
can
effect.
just go in guns
Report to
blazing
your
if you really
stations
want
and
to, but
execute any
it's
intruders
not
on site.
Where are you?
Nowhere.
Nope, nothing to see here.
back where I was.
I know you're here somewhere, scum.
So we've got about 5 minutes, Cory. Was there anything else you wanted to show, or should we just see if you can escape here?
Oh, I'll
See
find
if I can escape.
That's your challenge. Can you escape in
This
the 5
facility
minutes?
is now in high alert.
Oh, I know what I
Lockdown
was
is
thinking.
now in
I didn't
effect.
I didn't
Report
grab the
to your
journal off
stations
again.
and
That's
execute
the whole
any
reason I'm here.
intruders on site.
Now that I have that, now I can get out. Samuel the boatman.
Got you now.
I'm just gonna run.
Assassin, help! Whiskey for a week if you kill him.
Reward?
That's a lousy whiskey for a week. That's a terrible reward for taking someone's life.
All right. I've made it to where they
Nice.
can't get me from there. Oh, there's a guy right there.
That guy.
So here's something. Often in these games, they will avoid putting, and by they I mean the devs, putting enemies where they will see you right where you spawn.
Yeah.
But not always. Like this guy, I hadn't hardly moved from where I came in, and he could already see me. And I think it's best to avoid situations like that, to let the player kind of get their bearings.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would generalize that in that in pretty much every game genre and pretty much every situation and pretty much every level, I think you should spawn into a zone of safety.
Yeah.
And, that zone, like even if you wanted to trigger, some kind of a threat or, very early in the level, you should wait until at least the players had some input or advanced a little bit before you trigger it. You just shouldn't trigger it while someone's standing there doing nothing, getting their bearings.
Yeah. Pretty easy escape once I got outside. They don't have as many guards out here.
Is that you?
Yeah, I feel that again feels like an odd managerial choice on their part. Odd deployment choice. Let's put all the people inside the secure place to get people once they've gotten in. Let's not have them outside the secure place to prevent them from getting in the first place. But it's all good.
And I've made it.
Hey, Corvo. Samuel. I'm here.
Smoking. All right.
If you got him.
Well,
Nice.
I did pull off the mission. It wasn't super clean, but I did it.
You did it, and you showcased the mechanics, which was our objective. So I feel like we'll give that mission accomplished. I mean, Cory, I think this is a good place to stop for today. I thought that was super useful. I think the range of mechanics there is interesting. I think that that's I certainly get, having seen it now for the first time, why that feels like such a classic stealth title.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the some of those design principles, that we saw, like, zones of safety mixed with zones of challenges, right? Having an appropriate degree of peril or an appropriate degree of consequences, if you break stealth, relative to the severity of you breaking stealth. I think that's a key principle. And there were others we talked about as well, but those are all things we can do in a game like Dawn City Heist, even with the existing mechanics you showcased in your prototype level. And then there's a ton of other mechanics here as well that we saw that could be very interesting to think about, too, as, stretch goals or things we might do, if we continue to iterate on the game.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of the gameplay in Dawn City, even though it's simplified because the enemies aren't as smart and you don't have as many abilities, but a lot of the core of just carefully observing and sneaking around and, oh no, I have to get away before this guy catches me, is the same. And getting the loot as well. Those are all core things that are shared among games of this genre, and those are things to think about when designing levels for it.
Yep, agreed. So I think that will wrap our stream for today. Thanks for those of you who watch. This will be up on the YouTube channel. We'll, if you want to check it out later, we'll post the link again, on the Discord. Because I think it's a great resource and a great sense for those. And then, Cory, your next stream, you're planning on showcasing a little bit of... Are you going to do any more gameplay from comparable games, or are you going to go right into the Endless mission?
I think we'll go right into Endless to introduce people to some of the games that people have made in Endless before and the capabilities of the editor inside Endless.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, once again, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Bye.